Hey, it's Jeff. I'm a co-founder and broker of record at Condo. Today we're going to take you through some of the things that happened in 2020, as well as the things ahead in 2021.
And I'm Tim Bolton, a sales representative with Condo Culture. I'm here to ask Jeff Gibson lots of questions and share some of my experiences in the condo market. So Jeff, as we start into 2021, what are some of the key takeaways or exciting things that you'd like to look back on from the year 2020?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was quite a year, and a lot of things happened that we didn't expect to happen, I think, in this past year. But what I think we saw was the resilience of the local market. We had a pretty scary start to 2021 coming into the spring where transaction volume basically halted. And then it was amazing, I think, to all of us to see that recovery. And I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a pretty slow recovery, but it snapped back pretty quick. And since then we've been seeing transactional levels that are higher than any of the previous recent years.
I agree. I think at the beginning of the year, we found ourselves looking at ways to create buyer interest. By the end of the year, the problem became not having enough inventory as we saw local buyers get more enthusiastic and a lot of out-of-town interest start to flow in as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think, that extended to both like the resale and pre-construction market, right? Like both were incredibly robust. And I think it's exciting kind of leading into next year, this year having a lot less supply on the market, given kind of everyone's uncertainty in what was going to happen next year. We seem to be setting up for one of our biggest years yet in terms of new supply. I think what we're hopeful of is that in 2021, some of that increased demand or heightened demand will be met with more and more product available for buyers and sellers. And I think that will hopefully help keep things affordable while still continuing to facilitate the growth that we're seeing in this market.
So one of the things that I hear from clients or potential buyers is, obviously COVID-19 is here. And you read CMHC headlines, and there seems to be this prevailing sentiment among some parts of the population that if you just wait, prices are gonna fall. They have to fall. But I feel like we've been hearing that for a while, and it hasn't happened. Do you believe that that's likely to occur in 2021, or what?
Yeah, I would like to think that it is for the sake of buyers out there. If you look at all the fundamentals, both being construction costs, low mortgage rates, and just the sheer amount of demand out there, I don't foresee a situation where that unfolds. I think we're going to continue to see really strong price growth, which is great for people in the market, but also for people that make a decision to get into the market. I think we'll continue to see that through 2021. Let me ask you a few questions for a moment. Sure. What are you seeing coming in 2021 that buyers and investors should be excited about?
We're hoping and eagerly anticipating that the Urban Towns at Wollaston by Fusion Homes might have an upcoming release. The demand in the market for that particular project has been something that I've been impressed to see. It's both been locally driven as well as a huge influx of demand coming from the GTA market. And those would be stacked towns that will probably begin in the low to mid 400s and range up to around 500,000. But Fusion Homes, for those that haven't heard of them, have a great reputation. One of their main points of emphasis is on the customer journey and the experience. That is not only delivering a great product, but making sure that the client's engaged and well-informed throughout the process. And we've seen that in working with them, and it's really been something that buyers have loved. So, we'd love to have more of that to sell, largely because there's huge pent-up demand and a waiting list for it. I've also heard that the recently concluded Parkside stacked townhome project near Elmsdale Road in Ottawa may have another phase coming, and that was very much the same, where we had a fixed number of units available, but many more buyers that would have loved to have participated. Mm-hmm. And that was a slightly lower price point, but similar concept. And I think that the market is very hungry for that type of development heading into 2021.
And that area is really interesting, right? With a lot to offer.
Well, it sits on major transit lines. You're literally a 30-second drive to hop on the expressway if you want to go east-west or get to the 401. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely surrounded by shopping, and then it sits across the street from what's now relevant, Kitchener's best tobogganing park, right? So
and dog park by some.
And dog park, yeah. Dirt biking, whatever. So, it's really got a little bit of everything that somebody could want, whether you were living there yourself or having it as an investment. So it sets up really, really well. And those would be probably the two first projects that we might anticipate seeing in the coming year.
Okay, let's move to the core for a second. What do we have coming in 2021 in the core?
Yeah, so a lot of the buzz and incoming inquiries that we're getting right now would be for Station Park. It's a name that might be familiar to a lot of the people that were either lucky enough to get into it or unfortunately were left out given the demand in 2019 when it launched. For those who don't know, Vanmar Developments launched an 18 and 28 story development in 2019. They sold out almost immediately. It was one of those one-day sellout type situations. And there were many more people that wanted to get in. And the good news is, as I understand it, as early as this fall, Vanmar might be coming to market with an additional tower that could even be larger. Is that correct?
There's a few additional towers planned in the development, but the next tower will be larger. And I think we'll release details on that coming in 2021.
What would you suggest a buyer do if they maybe missed out on the first two towers and want to make sure they're in a position to get that access for the third building?
My recommendation, and I think all of our recommendations, would be get in touch with us. Don't hesitate to reach out. I think your opportunity there is knowing the latest first and being in first ahead of the crowd. So.
Okay, in addition to Station Park, we're expecting a pretty exciting new development in Belmont, and this one would be by the Zare Group.
Yeah, the Zare Group. And so this group is obviously a family-run business, been in the area for a long time with a lot of history in the area. I couldn't be more excited for this project. It's something completely new and unique for the city, and I think we're really looking forward to bringing additional amenity and some additional residents to the village.
One of the things I love about Belmont is the variety of food options that are there. Italian food, Lady Glazed Donuts is in there, which is great. There's an abundance of things, but not as much housing, so that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think one of the things about that area, right, as we all know as locals, is regardless of whether you live in that neighborhood today, you often will frequent it for dinner or drinks or what have you, right? And so it's already a hub of that type of activity. And that's the beautiful thing about having a building there. Not only will the building have amenities in it, but those amenities very much flow into the street.
Is this building, and I'm not sure if it's named yet, but I'll call it the Zare building for having a reference point. What kind of building is this meant to be? Is it going to be a bunch of very small commodity type units? Is it going to be high-end luxury? Is it going to be a blend of each?
So to answer your first question, the building we're excited to announce will be called 660 Belmont. So keep an eye on that and reach out to us with any questions. You'll see it up on our website as well. The project, Tim, will be a mix of suites. So it'll be a unique building in the sense that it'll really have a luxury positioning that we haven't yet seen in the area, and therefore luxury finishes, luxury amenities.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like for me, in talking to the people in my network, a lot of the incoming inquiries that I've had have been for people looking for homes or upscale residence opportunities in a condo building, and they haven't been able to find what they've wanted to date.
Yeah.
And the perception is that that's going to exist in 660. And I think that's got people pretty excited, but that also plays well for investors in the sense that if you've got some very high value real estate or units in a specific building, that brings up all of the values across the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the old real estate adage, right? Like buy on the most expensive street, and there's no doubt that that building, as looked at like a street, will be one of the most expensive streets. And then our team's actually working on the interior design of the building. The door on our team's leading the interior design, and there's no question that interior, the moment you walk into it, you're gonna know you're in a luxury building, and I think that'll bode really well for long-term value.
Before we move on from the 660 Belmont building, is there anything that you could share about amenities for someone that's considering a residence opportunity? Would there be amenities in there that might appeal to them?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is hold those as a surprise for 2021. And so we'll definitely reach out with exactly what those amenities are. But the one thing I can say at this point is that the amenities are going to favor quality. It's very tempting as a lot of these buildings are going up to deliver amenities that hit the checkbox and hit the mark. And I think the goal for this building is to provide amenities that stand apart from any building in town. So if you have a fitness center as an example, that's going to be the best, most inviting fitness center you can imagine in a local condo. And that's what we're going to strive for at 660.
So Jeff, we've mentioned a few specific developments that are coming throughout the year. Is there a particular time of the year that you expect to be busier than others, or should it be steady throughout? And the reason I ask is you want to have those investors sort of ready to act because things do sell so quickly. So what would you foresee as being the busier times?
Typically what we see is projects being kind of concentrated in the spring and the fall. 2021, I think we're going to see some launches as early as January. So on the heels of watching this video, definitely keep a keen ear for any condo culture announcements of new projects coming. Definitely subscribe to our newsletter if you haven't already. If you have friends that are interested in the market, have them subscribe as well, or just reach out to us, and we're happy to keep you abreast as to when these projects are coming and make sure that you're amongst the first to know. Yeah, so on behalf of Tim and I and everyone at Condo Culture, wishing you a very prosperous, happy, and healthy year ahead.
And for those considering a purchase this year, have your checkbooks ready. Inventory selling fast.